I didn't want to drink after Kevin or nothing like that. Yeah, right.
Okay, questions for Coach? Please raise your hand. We've got microphones around the room. Over here on the left, Dave.
Dave McMenamin, ESPN. Ty, what's your message going to be to your guys heading into Game 4?
That's our main focus, Game 4. And just tell the guys, games 1 and 3, we had a chance to win. We were right in the game with the opportunity to win those games. So we know we can beat this team, and we just got to have the confidence to do that. We got to be better in some areas that we, have some breakdowns in. But, our focus is not on, winning 4. Our focus is winning Game 4, and that's got to be our mindset.
I know it was a 33-foot shot, so I'm acknowledging that. But what do you think of your defense on that possession when KD hit the kind of nail in the coffin?
Rodney was guarding the ball. They ran a pick and roll. JR switched up and tried to get a contest, but he kind of stopped behind the screen and raised. And 7 foot. JR tried to contest as best as he could, and he made a big shot.
Tim, back right.
Ty, it seems like last night ended just like 20 minutes ago. Was there any time to decompress last night? What was the mood when everybody showed back up today? Was there already any sense of already beginning to move on from last night? Or are you still sort of dealing with it in some ways?
No, I think the guys moved on. It was a tough loss for us. Guys were down last night, which they should have been, knowing that we had a chance to win that game. But the spirits are up. We got to turn the page and get ready for tomorrow.
Jeff in the front.
Jeff Shedell, News Herald. Ty, we were just talking to Kevin Love, and he said that being stagnant in the third quarter was a problem again. So why does that keep happening, and what can you do to make sure it doesn't happen?
Well, it hasn't kept happening because the first 2 games we were better than them in the third quarter. So can't say that. But I thought in the third quarter last night we took some bad shots, and that led to transition for those guys, and they got easy baskets. So our shot selection is what hurt us, I think, in that third quarter. So the first 2 games we were better than they were in the third quarter. So
Chris on the left side in the middle.
Chris Haynes, ESPN. Coach, you're pretty much always even keel, regardless of the outcome. How do you handle losses? Do you handle them like, some guys stay up late watching film or can't sleep? How do you handle bad losses?
It's tough, but I can't show the emotion. I think your team looks to you in those situations, and you got to stay confident, which I am. But I never really overreact and go crazy. But at home, I'm looking at different things to try to make us be better. And you prepare and you do all the things you try to do to win the game. And sometimes it don't work out. And you have to live with that. But when you're playing hard and you give everything you got, and you had a chance to win Game 1, had a chance to win Game 3, and you come up short, those are tough losses, and for me and for the players, our coaching staff. So when you come in the next day, even though it's tough, you got to have that, you got to be up, you got to be energetic, and you got to be positive. And that's what I tend to do, in tough times.
Any other questions for Coach? Jason on the left side.
Jason Lloyd, The Athletic. When you look at the big picture, the 4 years that this whole thing has been put together, you've obviously been in charge for 3 of the 4 finals appearances, but nobody saw Golden State coming when this team was put together. Nobody saw this eruption of talent forming at the right time. How do you assess the run that you guys have had from the day LeBron came back, when you were an assistant at the time, up to now?
It's been a great run. I think coming back the first year, when you have LeBron James on your team, they automatically think you're going to make it to the finals. But it's tough to win, and it's hard. And coming back his first year, and the team that, Griff put together, and the guys we added, throughout the course for the trade with Timo and JR and Shump and those guys, to now, I think we had a great run. I think going to the finals, LeBron's first year, second year winning the finals after being down 3-1, going back last year when they, added KD to their team, a 73-win team, added KD. And this year, with all the stuff we've been through and how we just stuck with it. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people counted us out as far as making the finals because of all the stuff we went through this season. But to do what we've done, our coaching staff, our players, and to stay focused and try to play our best basketball going into the playoffs this year. I thought the guys have done an outstanding job. And, you know, you get to certain positions in certain spots, and if you give it your all and you're prepared and you know, you don't win, that, you know, you take it hard, but you don't give in because you've done everything you could to try to win. Sometimes you just don't win, and that's just how it is. That's how sports go. But for the run that we've had, these 4 years have been great. And, you know, it's not over. You know, it's not over, but, I mean, I wouldn't trade it in for nothing in the world.
Last one on the third row on the left.
Coach Brad Botkin, CBS. You guys were pretty aggressive with Steph over the top last night with the ball screens, and he had a tough night, but they did get some of those old Warriors 4-on-3s downhill. Is that a trade-off that you'll continue to take moving forward?
We got to try to take away the easy ones, but I thought we did a good job of, you know, taking the ball out of Steph's hands, like you said. The first two games, I thought with the switches, he really hurt us. So we went to the blitz and tried to get the ball out of his hands. And when that happens, you know, you're going to give up some easy shots for McGee and for Bill and those guys. But we got to take away the easy slips and the dunks and things like that of that nature. But, you know, this team, you take away something, you're going to give up something. And we understand that. And, you know, if you blitz Steph, you got KD and Clay on the backside, or you blitz KD, you got Steph and Clay on the backside. So we just got to clean a few things up. But I like what we did. You know, if we hold Steph to 11 points and Clay to 11 points, and again, I like our chances. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Any questions?
I'm going to let you know nothing's changed from 12 hours ago. So if there's no questions, fine by me.
Okay, Jeff, here in the front on 1 or 2.
Jeff Shadell, News Herald. Kevin, your numbers in that first half were really good, rebounding. Did Golden State do something to make it more difficult in that second half?
No, I think more than anything, just I was spacing. You know, I find myself, you know, floating a little bit sometimes, and that's just due to most of the time in the third quarter, or a lot of the times we find ourselves a little stagnant, you know, ball watching or just not moving the ball from side to side. I think that's been, you know, one of the things for us throughout, you know, this season and seasons past where, you know, we come out in the third quarter and that tends to happen. So I think more than anything, it's, at least for me, what I can do is just keep in the same mindset, continue to be aggressive.
So then how, since you know that, I mean, how, is it more difficult to do than to say coming up here for Game 4?
Yeah, I mean, this is a team the Warriors, you really have to continue to put your foot on the gas. You can't let up. So, you know, I think it was not just myself, but everybody. I think it's a mentality. Just continue to stay aggressive, get that ball from side to side, and we've always been better when we've played with pace, and I think that allows Braun to do what he does best, and that's get downhill and attack and, you know, play in the open court and transition.
Over here on the right.
Kevin, Reed Forgrave with CBSSports.com. Obviously, you come out in Game 4 and you're going to try your guys' hardest. But is there any sense of resignation where it's like 2 out of 3 of these games you guys could have won, and you did everything you could in those games, and yet the Warriors just find a way?
Right. Well, I think that's why they're such a great team. But we've given ourselves a chance. I know that we'll come out in Game 4 and you know, really compete. We're not going to give in. And you know, as you mentioned, I mentioned last night too, just the margin for error is very slim against the Warriors. I mean, you almost I mentioned last night, you almost have to be perfect. There was a lot of things last night that we did well, but there are a couple of blown coverages, a couple of missed shots that and timely shots that didn't go our way. That led to them winning the game. So, yeah, there's been Game 1, Game 3. I know that Game 2 got away from us a little bit, but those are games that we were right there.
Standing on the left.
Kevin, John Gonzalez from The Ringer. It's obviously been a different sort of season for you guys. Ty was talking about that a little bit, about the difference between coaching guys he's been around for a while and then incorporating some new guys. So I was just wondering, in your experience, what it's like to play for Ty, and then what you saw from him when you were trying to phase in those new pieces.
Yeah, I think just at least for me, there's been a big comfort level with Ty. I've always had a trust with him as well, personally. And then just he's had to deal with a lot. I mean, incorporating a bunch of new players, roster overhaul, you know, and being the head coach of the Cavaliers. We've always had, I've always said we thrive under chaos, so we have some sort of sense of that. But, you know, he's taken everything in stride. I know he had a little bit of his health issues this year, but you know, he's faced that head on, and has been able to overcome all those.
Did you talk to him about the health issues while he was going through it? And what was that? Can you tell us anything about those conversations?
Well, I was, pretty happy and not only empathetic, but was able to talk with him about, some of the things that he's gone through off the court. So, and being able to, admit that he's been facing some anxiety, I think, and everything that's come out about, at least with DeMar and guys like Kelly Oubre and myself that deal with that sort of thing off the court. I'm extremely happy that he was able to face that and admit that. And it's one of those things where I know that his health. He went through some stuff this year, but I would have never known he was dealing with anxiety like that. So he's taken everything in stride. He's grown a lot, I think, since he's been here. And it's not just players that are able to grow and get through certain things and tough parts of their life, but coaches too. I think it's pretty cool.
On your left, Dave.
Dave McMenamin, ESPN. Kevin, this season's not over. It could go 4 more games, but if you were going to look back at what you guys have done this year, what makes you feel good about 2017, 2018 for the Cavs?
I think we were able to persevere. I know it seems like every time I get up here or talk to you or Joe or Jason, and we always talk about how many seasons it feels like it's been this year. But I think the perseverance, just being able to get through whatever's been thrown at us. And, I know that can be said for every single year, but I think this year was definitely the most trying for a number of those reasons that, you guys saw throughout.
Mark in the middle.
Kevin, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. LeBron has been through it all in 15 years, and I know he always tells you guys, follow my lead. What has he shared about this type of situation, either right now or last year when you were in the same predicament?
Oh, he just, I know I said earlier, he never takes his foot off the gas. He continues to be a leader. He continues to be LeBron. And, he just, a lot of times he is very vocal about it, and sometimes he just leads by example. But, he's the type of guy that he wakes up every day, punches the clock, puts in his time, and, we follow everything that he does. So, it's tough to be in this situation. It's not the situation we want to be in, but last year we came out and won Game 4 on our home floor, so we're hoping to do the same.
Over here on the right.
Kevin, Paul Antunes, ESPN Brazil. In 2016, you guys were down 3-1, won 3 straight games. Is there anything that you can draw from that experience that might help you have a little bit more confidence still in this series and try to do the supposedly impossible?
Yeah, I mean, it's you just got. I know it's cliche, but you got to take it one game at a time. I think that's what we did in that series. We were able to get Game 3. Obviously, lost Game 4 on our home floor, but we're able to win the next 3. But for us, that margin of error is is very small, and we know that if we keep our coverages tight. We foul when we're supposed to, or when we need to. We switch when we're supposed to. We don't let them slip to the rim, get those easy buckets that are deflating. And then on the offensive end, in the third quarter, we don't get stagnant and play a full 48 minutes of moving the ball and playing our game. We'll give ourselves a chance, and we feel like we can win.
Mr. Crick, USA Today. I just want to go back to mental health for a second. For you, what tactics do you use in times of adversity like this to quiet your mind so that maybe you don't slip into thinking too far into the future or thinking back into the past?
Yeah, I think as far as basketball goes, it's always been my safe place. Every time I've stepped up onto the floor, I've felt free, and it's a kind of a way to get away from those stresses. It's away from the court where I feel like your mind can play tricks on you, and if you try to quiet your mind too much, it's like trying to fall asleep at night. You start thinking of the stupid things you've done the last 10 years of your life, and all sort of negative thoughts creep in. But just be around good people, positive energy, and a lot of people do different things to manage their stress and anxiety and depression. And I have my own coping mechanisms as well, but I think everybody's different.
Is meditation a part of that?
Meditation is huge, yeah. I think it's my uncle had done TM now for 40 or 50 years, and that's something he's tried to get me into. But there's certain apps that you can use too, or listen to different white noises type of things. I know this is maybe boring for some of you guys, but I love this stuff. So it's something I really look to, and hopefully I can make an impact, especially this summer moving forward.
Last two, Ken in the back left, and then Joe up front.
Ken Berger from Bleacher Report. In this league, there's always somebody plotting to form the next super team to deal with the current one, whether it was you and LeBron and Kyrie teaming up, LeBron going to Miami, KD going to Golden State, and now this summer there'll be the next wave. How do you view that dynamic as a player? Is that sort of disquieting? Is it you look at it as an opportunity for players to have the chance to move around and team up, and how does that strike you?
I don't know. I guess I've never really had to answer that question. I feel like, I think if you have a chance to win in this league, you have to go for it. I mean, I can remember when, I had missed, the playoffs 6 straight years, and I, kind of decided that I wanted to win, and ended up, being in a bunch of trade scenarios, and ended up here and winning in 2016. But and teamed up with LeBron and Kyrie, and all those guys that won on the 2016 team. But now you see Morey talking about it with the Rockets, and them trying to team up and do whatever they can. They become, what he said the other day, that he's a 10 of 10 on obsessed with beating the Warriors. So that Rockets team is like they always say, they're built to try and beat them, and they went to seven games in the Western Conference Finals. So I think you'll see a lot of that around the league, and that's always going to be the talk because somebody has to try and dethrone these guys and work their way to that. So it's we're not out of this series. We got another game tomorrow. We need to fight, but I think to your point, at least in the offseason, I think you'll see a number of guys, a lot of movement, and that's going to continue to happen until there's some sort of parity.
Joe, last one on the front.
Joe Varden, Cleveland.com. Kevin, as you well know, your name comes up in the summer about trades and things like that. I think you have 2 years left on your deal, and it's hard to say what's going to happen here this summer. Do you expect to be back next season, or how do you view your future coming here in Cleveland?
Yeah, I'd hope so. I've always said that. I've always wanted to be here, always wanted to win here. But as you know, it's probably going to come up. It always does. It's also good to be wanted, but at the same time, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We just don't know. There's been so much overhaul and so many things that have happened this year, particularly with our team, that you just don't know when July comes and free agency hits. There could be something interesting, that comes up for this team, and knowing that it's a business, you just have to. I know that it's cliche to say take it in stride, but that's just what I've had to do: keep my mouth shut, go about my business, and work and be ready and be prepared for this team next year.
Thank you, Kevin.